Life settlements is a bit of a needle in a haystack. And when I say that, I mean some policies price, some policies don't price, and many policies don't price. You need that really good sweet spot of life expectancy to low premiums. And unfortunately, you can spend a whole lot of time and energy working a case for a life settlement that is never going to work in the first place. Okay. We've been, just as an insider's tip, we've invested hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in figuring out ways to help producers understand the value of a life insurance policy without going into full underwriting. So if you've ever seen Zillow, how you can type in an address and Zillow will predict what they think that house is worth, we've done the same thing, but for life settlements. And the tool is called My Policy Predictor. Think of it as like WinFlex for life settlements, where if you want to get a quick quote out, that's a non-binding quote, but just an idea of what a policy may be worth on the secondary market, our tool is available to each and every one of you on our website, harborlifebrokerage.com. And I will send everyone after this a link to the My Policy Predictor tool. And let me just show you quickly how it works, just so you can see it. So let's say you're logged in, you say I have a client that wants a policy, and we'll just type in my name, Lucas Siegel. Let's say the age is 80, male, non-smoker, current health, let's say slightly impaired. And if you need to know, like, what the heck does slightly impaired mean? A few well-managed chronic conditions. Issue class, let's say preferred. Policy type, universal. Carrier, let's say Lincoln. So they were 80, let's say they got it when they were 60 years old, say $1 million. Total amount paid into the policy, let's say $250,000. And let's say the cash surrender value is 50. So if you're just sitting at your desk and something like this comes across, a policy comes across your desk and you're like, I want to get a ball. I don't want to go pull the illustrations. I don't want to go call my client to see if they're interested. I just want to see if this might work for a settlement. Our tools are always available to you as a producer. And so you just click My Policy Value. And there is the predicted value of the policy, $172,000 with a predicted life expectancy of 124 months. This is the estimated commissions of the deal. And you can see, they change depending on the health status. And right here, you can see they're slightly impaired. So we estimate that it's going to be worth anywhere from $122,000 to $222,000. And it goes up as they become more impaired, as the life expectancy drops. So the lower the life expectancy, the higher the potential offer. And the reason why there's a range here is because it's looking at it from a 13% IRR perspective versus a 15% IRR perspective, which is what is the internal rate of return that the fund would buy it at. Now, keep in mind, this tool is a tool for you guys to use, but it is an estimate. I'm telling you, it is wrong 100% of the time, but it's better than not knowing anything. And the way we built this is we took 9,000 policies that have had their premiums optimized and have fully optimized premium streams. And we took those 9,000 policies and created a artificial intelligence program that can predict based off carrier, based off face amount, based off age, what the cost of insurance is going to be over time for specific policies. And so that's how this was built. But it is a prediction. But one of the cool things you can do, and I highly recommend this if you're just trying to play around and get a feel. So life settlements is not just about getting them the cash now. There's also, as a financial advisor and as a financial professional, what is the client going to do with that cash? Are they going to reinvest that cash? Are they going to reinvest that cash with me as the advisor? And what rate of return do I think I could get them if they took $300,000 from a settlement to invest for the rest of their life? So with this tool, you can play around with whatever rate of return you think you can plausibly get for that client if they reinvested their money from the life settlement. Because it's not just about selling the policy, it's about the opportunity cost of not selling the policy. Long-term capital gains rate, life settlement commission, and income tax rate. So here, under this policy, under this example, we think they're going to live 124 months. So if they sold it today, they'd get $137,000 cash. We estimate there'd be no taxable consequence because the amount of premiums they've paid was more than the amount they're getting out of the settlement. And so net of the commission to the producer, they would get $137,000 that they could invest for the rest of their life. And we already adjusted the projected return right there. So they're investing it at a 9%. On top of that, if they kept their policy, we predict that they're going to have to pay an additional $404,000 in premiums to keep the policy active for the rest of their life. Now, what does that mean practically from an opportunity cost perspective? It means that instead of paying every month into the policy, they could pay into an investment, earning 9%. So what this tool does is it says, okay, if you invested your $137,000 at 9% for the rest of your life, you're going to earn an additional $197,000. And if you took the money that you would be paying every month into the policy and invested it at 9%, you'd make an additional $220,000 plus some taxes, which makes the future value of reinvesting the life settlement at $896,000. We also look at it for if you just took the cash surrender value. And then we look at it if you kept the death benefit and kept the policy and kept paying for the rest of your life, which is that $1 million minus the $404,000 that you'd have to pay in premiums, and you'd get the $595 tax-free. So that allows consumers to really navigate this space and look at the options compared to each other. And I just wanted to reiterate, this tool is available for every single person on this webinar to use for free. Another interesting thing that we like to do as a life settlement firm, I mentioned the Consumer Lapse Protection Program. What that really means is looking out for your client's best interests. And you have the ability to, if you use Performex or if you use a GA, that GA most likely is storing data feeds of all of the policies you've ever written with them and whether they're still in force, what the cash surrender value is, when the next premium is, what the death benefit is, etc. And so they've got these data streams. And what you can do in working with us is you can not just upload one policy into a tool. We can upload all of your policies, and this is all under NDA. It's your data, it's not our data. But then what we do, the tool can predict which policies would be good for a life settlement. And so if you see here, this is an Excel spreadsheet that we like to do for people, where these greens mean that the cash surrender value is less than 5% of the death benefit. And if the person was moderately impaired, the price of that policy, the value of that policy is more than the cash surrender value. So those are perfect examples of just looking through your book of business and making sure it's healthy and letting these people know, hey, I know that you've got low cash surrender value on your policy. How's it looking? Are you still wanting to keep it? Can you keep it? Because there might be another alternative.